Jeez Louise, look at this. Look at this operation we got going on, Krahner.
Oh, is he at darts right now, or where are you at? Nice hoodie, Francis. What are you doing?
Say what?
Yeah. Oh.
You couldn't go somewhere a little more quiet? You're in the what Irish city are you in? Walking. Oh, look at that bar. That looks exactly what you would think. Ireland. Are you in Dublin?
That's the Temple Bar, probably the most famous bar in this country, right in the Temple Bar district in Dublin.
How was the soccer game?
But I didn't call it. I didn't call to talk about that. I called to find out what's going on in the playoffs.
Well, you're lucky you tuned in, Francis. I'm sure there's nothing on TV at the Temple Bar there. They're not paying attention to the first round, or what?
I was at an Irish Premiership soccer game today, and
How was it?
I can tell you that St. Patrick's beat the Bohemians 3-1. It's a big crosstown rivalry, so I thought I'd update you on that one.
7-game series or just a 1-game elimination?
Oh no, we're getting to the short straws of the regular season here, and you know, the St. Pat's moved into first place, so I know our Irish listeners will want to know that.
Yeah.
How many dives or legit penalties in the game?
Well, one guy went down, and we were sure he was dead. And you know, when you see it live, you realize they're faking even more than TV suggests. And but he went off. And we're pretty sure he died, but I'll have to find out. I'll report back next week whether the soccer player died, because a guy tackled him right with their legs got caught up. It looked savage.
Oh.
Did they use the rejuvenating spray on their leg to bring them back to life? Did they spray them with mist?
The magic aerosol. Yeah, the magic aerosol. They tried that. It didn't work. It was just a lifeless body, so they carted him off. It was tragic to see.
Cart, or did they bring out the old stretcher, like the ones that we see, and then they carry him off like an old senior hockey game?
No, he walked off. He didn't even limp. He didn't even fake it with a limp. He just walked off, and everybody cheered like he was this Irish hero.
Tough.
And then he disappeared down a hallway, and we all said a prayer, and the game went on.
It's like Mike Modano getting carted off by the ambulance in the late 90s, where he just fell off the gurney, right? It's like, hey, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We got him covered. Not a big deal.
One of the funniest things in NHL history. How much was a beer at that soccer game? Because I'm sure, or did you hold out for the rum and coke?
You want to talk about sporting tragedies? No beer at the game. No alcohol. Like, that's why we left at the half. I only know the final score because I Googled it. But because I'm here with 20 guys, and I convinced them all to go to this game because I thought it'd be fun to see a live soccer game, or football, sorry. And then no booze there because they'll all murder each other, I guess. And then at the half, we're all looking at each other going, we didn't come to Ireland to watch football. We came to drink, so let's get out of here.
Well, and you left after the first period, I would imagine, like you normally do, hey?
I taught you well, Krahner, how to cover a game. Leave after the first and read about it online.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's going to write a story.
All right. Well, you go have fun. It doesn't look fun at all. Krahner and I are going to continue talking hockey here.
Yeah, text me the scores if you could later. There's no internet connection here in Ireland. I don't know what's going on.
Dial up. Gotta get your modem right.
Thanks.
Good to talk to you, boys. I just thought I'd check in and give you the update on the soccer. I'll find out how bad the injury is, and I'll get back to you on that too.
Eric Francis from Ireland. Brent Krahn is here again. He was with us on Wednesday. He's got it figured out, doesn't he?
That man is dumb like a fox. I had to fill in for him once because he said the weather was bad. He couldn't fly back, but I do believe he was stuck in Florida during the hockey season. And I got an emergency text. Can you do the panel tonight? And I'm like, yeah, it better be a big emergency. He's like, yeah, Francis is stuck in Florida. I'm like, oh, must be tough, right? We've got somebody here that's going to get it taken care of, right? And then default number 2 is me. We're all good, right?
Speaking of that, it was late this year that I was watching Sportsnet, and you got bumped in to do, was it color for a Flames game? And was that at last minute? Was that an e-bug situation?
No, I have ruined many e-bug status for the National Hockey League where they've had to put in protocol to make sure guys are fit for duty. This one was planned months in advance.
Oh.
And I wheeled in there, and they prepared me. They gave me the lingo, all what you're supposed to understand, and when I say this is what that means. And obviously Johnny Abbott's awesome, one of the best in the business, and it took me about a period and a half to kind of understand everything that was going on. And the hardest part for me is like I'm a very black and white guy. I do believe I said that Wednesday when we were on here again, when I was taking over for Francis, is upgrading the show here for 20 minutes. But when I see something, there's not a whole lot of commentary. It's like, yeah, that's not a goal. Like Connor Zary kicked the puck in the net, and that was like, well, we need more explanation. I'm like, well, he kicked it in. There's no more explanation. He took his right leg and he booted the puck in the net. Well, we're going to go to the Hockey Central and we're going to break down the goal. No, this should be called back because he deliberately kicked the puck in the net. And so there's a zone of silence for about 30 seconds where John Abbott's looking at me like, do you have anything more to add to this? I'm like, no, he kicked the puck into the net. That's like, I don't know how much more I could add to this. He took his right leg and he booted it into the net.
You did great. You did great.
Well, it took me a little while to get going, though. There's a lot going on. I didn't want to be disrespectful. I can talk with the best of them, but I didn't want to be disrespectful. I didn't want to overtalk John Abbott. I did not want to talk for the sake of talking. So I was trying to find my rhythm, my cadence. But they did call it a goal, which is mind blowing. Like these NHL replay guys that call that kind of stuff a goal, like that. Like I don't know what the qualifications are to get that job. I really don't. But I would like to. No, it's like being a weatherman, right? It's like, is it snowing today, and where you're from, and maybe it doesn't, maybe it does a little bit, and maybe
yeah,
but in all seriousness, I was very fortunate. I got an opportunity to call a hockey game, which I never thought I would ever, and I got an opportunity to go up there with Johnny Abbott, call the game against the Utah Mammoth, and There was an instance there too where I made a bunch of notes. I was so prepared, like we all do when we go into a situation where we have no idea what the job scope is. We have an idea, but I'm going to be so prepared. I'm ready for this. And I was looking down at my notes, and there was a penalty, and we were going into the break, and I hear the producer in my ear saying, "Krahn, we're going to break down the penalty." I'm like, I didn't see the penalty. I didn't see what happened here. And then they go to the break and they do the old like dun, 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 like the whole Sportsnet theme, and they got Sharon Govich tripping again. It's the first time I've ever seen it. It's like, well, you got Sharon Govich here. He's obviously late in the play. He's skating really fast back, and then he tripped the guy. Like that's my analysis. It's like, thanks for coming on Sportsnet tonight. You've done a great job, right? And then you got characters like Francis that really just love that kind of stuff, where it's like, I know exactly what happened there. He wasn't paying attention. His head was firmly planted, where, and we're gonna listen to this monkey just break this down, right? Like
I love it.
You gotta have a little humility. You gotta have a sense of humor, and I took in the chops by a lot of good people.
That's why they should have you regular next year, because it needs a change.
Wow.
It's more like you think about it though. It's I said this the other day. It's like how you're attracting different fans. It's like how they write commercials for TV. My sister actually sent to my sister, and it's like they write commercials differently now for TV and radio at like the high level to that is for the brain of a 18, 19, 20, because how they consume is way different than you and I. Just like how you and I consume is way different than our parents And I was like, well, and I feel a lot of times with sports, that's where like the Biz and the TNT and some of that stuff they do in Colby and all that, it's different. It's like, oh, what a breath of fresh air instead of being so, vanilla and
robotic and
robotic.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So I think they should. I think we need more Krahn in there. Let's talk about these series here. If the Oilers lose tonight in Anaheim, Edmonton Oiler fans losing their minds?
They lose their minds every minute of every day, right? It doesn't matter, right? Like the good thing about Oilers fans is they're so passionate. They are all in on their team, whether they're bad or they're good. They're all in. And McDavid hasn't had a good first 2 games, but they got the split, and people are always like, "Oh, it's Connor McDavid, relax." So they're going to full on panic. We know they will. Not a problem. They're just going to completely melt down, and we're going to trade the whole team and fire everybody, and we're going to start over again. But it's the Oilers, right? They have arguably Connor McDavid's the best player in the National Hockey. Leon Draisaitl is my favorite player in the National Hockey, being in the Calgary Flames organization. But watching a guy like Draisaitl play the game he's mean, he's strong, he's tough. He drives every single night. He's consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. He missed a month. He comes back, and that rest was well earned, and you can see how much energy he has. Whether he's playing at 100%, we don't know, but he's sure giving 100%. Oilers can't defend. They can't. And the good thing about having Connor Ingram in net is the fact that he doesn't give up bad goals. Yes, he gave up 5 in the Oilers lost the Ducks here 6-4, but you can't fault him on any of them. He's made some key saves at key times. He's got that. He went through a few mental battles where he had to take some time away from the game. He's come back, and he's an easy guy to cheer for. We're all cheering for him. Honestly, I am too. You want him to succeed. Anaheim, they don't play defense either. Dostal can be a game breaker, but he's not going to game break for 4 wins for Anaheim. If this game goes if this series goes the distance, I'm not really too concerned about it. This is the Oilers series to lose. How long can you keep McDavid down, even if he is partially injured, even if he's tentative, sore? This Oilers team can still win, and I'm not a diehard Oilers fan. I'm not sure if you know that, but I am not overly concerned at all whatsoever.
Well, I took Anaheim the other night. Right after we talked to you, I took them -1.5. And everyone's like, "You're an idiot." I'm like, oh, I just like Anaheim giving them all they can handle in this series. And where it ends, you're not going to be able to keep McDavid. But then, people are like, he looked like he got a little injured in that game too. And Anaheim, with Gudas on the ice, all bets are off there. What about, you said you saw them live, Utah. They even things up with Vegas and Vejmelka in net. I liked him when he was with Arizona. Watched him a lot there. This Utah team, Krahn, is just the epitome of we just don't watch them enough. Like, no one tuned into a lot of Utah games this year. I was a big Coyote fan, so I know kind of some of these young guys and where they were going. But they're going to give Vegas, and it's first playoff game ever in Utah tonight. Wouldn't that be fun to be at?
Oh, it would be amazing. And what I'm about to say, I mean zero disrespect to Utah whatsoever, but they're too young and stupid to realize where they are. You know what I mean? They're just, and you need that. You need the young guys to come in. It's like, hey, this is amazing. We're playing the National Hockey Playoffs. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, this is great. I love it. Like, no understanding of the repercussions. You have a lot of young players that are trying to make names for themselves. They're dynamic. They're offensive. Vejmelka, he's a clunky goalie. And nothing he ever does makes sense, and it doesn't look natural. It doesn't look smooth, but they got the split in Vegas, which is what they needed. And I would imagine that it would be a split back in Utah. And I can see this series going 7 games. Mitch Marner hasn't really shown up. We'll see what he's got to offer. There's a ton of Flames in this series, too. You got Noah Hannafin. You got Rasmus Anderson on the Vegas side. And Then you got Mackenzie Weegar on the Utah side, right? And I think there was, in game 2, I think Mackenzie Weegar connected with Hannafin and Anderson on his goal.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's important for Utah to get that split, to get that belief. And I think them going back to Utah, I don't think this team is going to be too overwhelmed with the reception they're going to receive tonight playing against Vegas. I think they're just going to relish it. They're going to own it. They're going to have some fun. They're going to go out there and rip the puck around. But I do believe that they're going to come out of these 2 games in Utah split, and it could go the distance. But it's a fun series. It's been mean. That Barbashev, I love watching him play too. He loves finishing his. Ian Cole's been taking it in the teeth here from Barbashev, for the first 2 games, just getting run over. Every time he touches the puck, he gets pasted against the boards. It's the way it should be. It's a war of attrition. It's who's going to be able to fight through it. And I do believe that Utah is in a place where I just think that they have enough energy, they have enough exuberance, and they have enough stupidity. And like I said, I don't mean that in a negative way, but they just don't know where they are, and they're just going to go out there and have some fun.
Like the guy that sits down at the poker table that's never played before, and what are you doing? What? But what's your take on Lightning Montreal shifting to Montreal? Speaking of places a guy would want to be tonight,
I think that Montreal is going to be overwhelmed in the game tonight because Montreal is one of the best, if not the best, places to watch a hockey game in the playoffs. That's a culture there. I mean, that Bell Center is going to be rocking tonight. I worry about Dovish. He's the goaltender. He's an emotional player. I thought he played very well games 1 and 2 in Tampa. You're going to go into Montreal. I hope he can use it as motivation, but I do think he might be rocky out right off the start. I didn't like Slafkovsky fighting Hagel. I thought that was useless. I thought that was immature. It's hard when people are in your face and they want to call you out, and the way the social media works and everybody's on camera, if he turns away, they're all going to say, oh, he's soft. Oh, he's not a tough guy. Yeah. Which Slafkovsky's not a tough guy. What does he have to fight Hagel for? Tampa Bay is going to try to bring you down into the mud and wrestle you. And Montreal is faster and more skilled, and you don't have to get into that Tampa Bay game. They got the split in Tampa. That's great. You'd like to see Montreal win 2 at home. This start tonight from Montreal is going to be huge. And conversely, for Tampa Bay, they got to get after them early because they're a young team. They're not an overly experienced playoff team, even though guys have been around. That whole COVID year with Suzuki playing, it's like, I don't really view that as real playoffs, even though it was fun for us to watch something at home where
in August
where the world lied to us. But at the end of the day, it's like at the end of the day, it's now you're in something real. Now you're coming into Montreal, and the place, the Bell Center's jammed. And Montreal, like I said, it's got some of the best fans in the world. And for a young goaltender like Dovish at the start of the season too, he was great early on. Then he had some hiccups, and he was very emotional in the media. And you can just see the ebbs and flows of a young goaltender. And I really hope he does well. But Tampa Bay might be able to take this game if they can get to Dovish early tonight. But I do believe Montreal is going to take the series in 6.
You know who the most boring team to watch is in the playoffs?
Carolina.
Yeah, Freddie Anderson though. Can he take him as a goalie and a guy that you know him? Can he take him to? No, I'm deep in a couple of drafts with Carolina guys.
I know. Well, you're wise to pick Freddie Anderson because he will get you to a point where the moment becomes too big for him and he will fold. Right? Like I Leafs fans. I'm sure I know a handful of Leafs fans in Saskatchewan. There's few and far between. My old man in southern Manitoba was a diehard Leafs fan.
Say that again.
You pity them for a long time until they get success and they turn into monsters, and that's just how it works. They're just it's with a guy like Freddie Anderson, he'll find a way to get out of a big moment, in my opinion, and that's not correct. We've seen him do it a handful of times in Toronto. Toronto's a pressure cooker. You get up 3-2. You're about to win a series. He lays an egg in game 6 and then falls apart in game 7. And I can just see the moment, and I hate to say this because I'm a member of the goalie union and I've failed in big moments and I've succeeded in few. So I can't sit there and say, Bob, but having said that, the moment's not big enough right now for Freddie to fail. And I think once you get out of the second round, when you get to the conference finals, now there's something on the line, and I can see him not intentionally, but either getting knocked out by injury or by poor play. And
wow,
I don't trust them. I don't trust them. They're going to get through Ottawa. They are. I think we blamed Linus Allmark all season long for Ottawa's struggles, and rightfully so. The guy is a marshmallow. He really is. But you have a leader in Brady Tkachuk, who I also feel too is he's not a he needs a more veteran guy leading him to help lead the team. I think if you put all your faith in Brady Tkachuk, I don't think he's going to get you there. I think he's a hype guy. I think he's an exciting player to watch. I have a lot of time for him, but I think he needs a bit more veteran leadership. And he's had chances with the game on his stick. Stützle's had chances with right. This could be very easily a 2-1 series or 3-0 the other way for Ottawa too. It really could. I thought Linus would fall on his face, and he's played great. But Ottawa once again has not come to the table and been a big game team. And so for this, I can't see Ottawa coming out of this whatsoever. And I think Freddie's going to struggle here down the road.
We got about a minute left, but I wanted to quickly. Where do you think Brady Tkachuk's playing next year?
I don't think it'll be in Ottawa. I really don't. I think he saw his brother's success leaving Canadian City in Calgary.
Yeah.
The thing with Matthew is he's also one of those guys that pulls into the fight, but he needs veteran leadership. When he got to Florida, he became better, but he wasn't the guy. He was just a rat that ran around, and that's an important piece. I think Brady's the very same player. He needs to go to a city where somebody can take him under his wing and point him in the right direction, and he's an asset, but they're not the driver.
And then when we talked to you on Wednesday, we were in Yorkton. Flin Flon sweeps Yorkton, SJHL final 4-0. And then the Niverville Nighthawks Niverville. Okay. Never heard of them, but they beat Verdun to win the MJ.
Yeah, 4 straight too, right? So I mean, that's obviously a big deal. I was a young man growing up in Winkler, Manitoba, watched the Winkler Flyers win a handful of, I don't even know if it was called the Turnbull Cup at the time. They didn't have funny names like that back in the day, but at the end of the day, I could be wrong. 4 rip, they win it in Verdun. Niverville is just outside of Winnipeg. It's a newer MJ team because I only played against the old dogs. But look how happy they are here. Hey, 4 rip. They made it easy on themselves. They took it into task, and congratulations to the Nighthawks.
How about Manitoba? They got the Manitoba title and the Saskatchewan title.
Isn't that scary? Look out.
Premier,
out.
What's the Premier's name there now? Rob Canoe.
Rob Canoe.
Yeah, he's rocking. All right, Krahn, thanks so much again for doing this, and very curious to see what happens tonight in Montreal after you said that. I might have placed a wager here already on Montreal heavy money line, so now I'm second guessing myself, but thanks for doing this again.
Appreciate the time, boys. Thank you.